Welcome back, my beloveds, my seers, my truth walkers, my mystics and priestesses. Today's episode is going to be a bit different. As you know, I like to switch it up. This isn't a break from the Earth Mother series, but it is a bit of a detour. This again is not one of my emergency podcasts, but today is a necessary interruption. A prophetic download that I had received, and I've been receiving and unraveling this all from the spirit guides and the ascended ones and the divine intelligences that speak through the soil of our ancestors and beyond. What I'm talking about today, I want to share will again, I hate doing the trigger warnings or things like that, but today might actually stir something up deep inside your bones. And it may challenge you in everything that you've ever been taught. But that's what awakening does, right? It cracks you open, it disrupts, and it frees. So let us get into it. Hi, everybody. The download that I have been getting, and it's been like flashes again, things that really seemed like, oh, well, maybe it's more mundane and it's not really that important. But come to find out, yeah, no, there's a reason why you're getting these. And so I've been being shown these like visions, these like deep truths about like the origins of spiritual practices and how so many lineages and belief systems that weren't born from separation, but were basically ripped apart by religious colonializers. Every religion, every tradition that we see today had to hide, adapt, or be burned out of existence. And during the Christian Crusades, for example, those were extremely violent and horrific inquisitions that brought terror and fear and shame. And yes, one of the biggest things that I have been seeing is that the guides have shown me how a lot of the new age spiritual leaders and the medicine people and the brujas and the shaman and the druids and the temple priestesses all had to disguise their truths. And even those that believed and followed the word of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. We can see these truths when we look at their songs, their rituals, and again, even within the written word of their Bible. Yes, the Bible, it is full of coded spells. Coded spells like deep, gnarly, nasty, black magic, if you want to call it something, spells. And they were not spells that were meant to liberate, but in actuality, spells that were meant to bind us. Their hymns, their chants, their phrases, words that cast and were spoken to keep entire communities entranced, disconnected from the land, from their breath, from their wombs. Women have been cast shame upon us because of a natural given gift. And it's all been stolen from us from our ancestral power. So, in essence, they basically weaponized sacred practices. And here's the truth that many might not already out there be ready to hear. Veiling wasn't always spiritual. It was turned into a tool to suppress our third eye connections, to cover it, especially for women. It our hair covered was to keep us from being able to understand fully and connect deeply. The first animal sacrifices, the kind used for control and blood offerings, the blood of the lamb, things like that, didn't come from our indigenous traditions. They were rooted in Christian black magic hybrids, twisted into stories that later were inserted into the belief systems of the colonialized people to taint and shame us, to give us that disgust in our own selves. So sorry. Um, so that was all meant to bring us in that shame. What we were told that we were doing was called witchcraft or satanic practices or worships. When our ceremonies were always rooted in harmony, healing, and cosmic flow. I saw the spirit of our ancestors crying this out. It wasn't us who spilled the blood in the darkness. It was they who masked themselves in white and twisted our earth into fire. That is what I heard. That is the words that I saw. It was not us who spilled the blood in darkness. It was they who masked themselves in white and twisted our earth into fire. So there's a manipulation of the narrative. When you study ancient records, sacred text, even oral traditions, there's a consistent pattern. Original beliefs honored nature, energy, the body, the temple, the ancestors. Women were considered oracles, the seers, the healers, the midwives, the leaders of their community as the divine balance. And there was no separation between the spiritual and mundane life. It was all ceremony. They wake up with gratitude and thanks. They go to sleep with gratitude and thanks. They cleaned, they fed, they nurtured. So why does this really matter? Why was this such an important download for me to receive? And it's because we're in a time of mass remembrance. The collective is beginning to unveil. So if they're unveiling and we become unveiled in our own spiritual practice, and we begin to understand that all of those energies are not there to harm us, that they're there to help us, show us, guide us, etc. The Earth Mothers are rising. The ancestors are restless. And those who walk with their eyes wide open, like you, listening right now, you're being called to stop apologizing for your knowing. Stop apologizing for your greatness and your gifts. You're not crazy. You're not diagnosed. And again, like a lot of this isn't just history, it's warfare, spiritual warfare. This is this is the war that we've been preparing and we saw coming. And it's your birthright. Your birthright is to reclaim your own truth, like I have in many ways. And so your practice is your birthright. Your uncorrupted power is your birthright. So how do you protect yourself and reclaim your path? Um, Begin to burn the false scripts. Release the teachings that are rooted deep inside you that cause you guilt, shame, fear. If it makes you feel small, it's not from spirit. Another good one is to relearn your um, language of your lineage, to become one with it and understand it, so that you're getting the correct interpretation. Um, and find the old names, the old rituals, and the uncensored teachings. Call in your true guides. Not all the angels are from love and light, okay? Um, so please use discernment. Do your research. Um, if you are choosing to begin to use your practice unveiled and you want to become stronger within that, you can, when you open your space and you open that up and you begin to open that eye and call it in, bring in the channeled in energies, um, the first thing you want to do is ask those energies, ask those ancestors and deities, and straight up, no bullshit, just straight up, are you here in love or are you here in to cause control or havoc? And you can ask them to show their faces in the fire or in the smoke or in your dreams, because truth cannot lie in visions. Okay. Um, Stop playing small. Those that cast against you, those that use magical roots and magical rooted spells, rituals, things like that, in manners that are there to control, they are all starting to reveal themselves. The the smoke screens have dropped, their curtains have flung wide open, and we can see their asses bare ass. So allow that to just, flow as it needs to. But you are protected because your armor is that of divinity. So stand up, say your name, and speak it with fire. And the final message that I got from Spirit is that this one is really going to hit hard for some of you guys. You were never wrong. They were always afraid of your womb, of your sight, of your hands that heal, and your voices that can call the storms. You are the daughters of the wild and the sons of the flame. And your power is not a threat to yourself. It is the balance that this world has forgotten. This is why it's such chaos. So if this episode has found you and you were, intrigued, you were meant to hear it. Take what resonates, leave the rest in the river. And remember, your magic is the resistance, and it's your return. So next episode is gonna be the Earth Mothers. I promise, Ishel, the Mayan goddess of medicine, Jaguar, and the sacred waters. And as always, as above, so below. Ashe O, blessed be, Aho, Bereshones.